Let's bring in another Democratic governor here, Governor of Kentucky, Andy Beshear. Governor, thank you for taking the time. You know, there was this moment during the State of the Union address where the president asked members to show support if they agreed with the statement that the first duty of the American government is to protect American citizens and not those in the country illegally. Many Democrats did stay seated for that. Look, it's not typical the opposition party stands and claps for every moment, but on that line, would you have?
The president had a choice last night to speak to the American people or to spar with those in the chamber, to either try to unite our country or further sow division. And that's what he did. Sure, the duty of public safety is critical. It's one I work on every single day. It's why I'm so proud that our recidivism statistics are down, as are violent crimes in Kentucky. But when he starts talking about immigration, what everyone immediately sees are those videos of American citizens dying at the hands of untrained and overly aggressive ICE agents. I've called for the withdrawal and retraining of every ICE agent that's out there in a city in America. But let me tell you, if they believe there is a dangerous criminal here in the country illegally, you send us his or her name. We'll go get them for you.
And I just wonder, though, on that point, obviously, look, it's not a political debate during the State of the Union. It's the president speaking and folks in the audience. But what do you make of the overall Democratic response, largely reserved or absent, but with some protests from Congresswoman Ilhan Omar and Congressman Al Green, for example? Did you see any of that as playing sort of into what the president wanted in terms of from his opposition?
Well, as governor, I give a state of the Commonwealth every year, and a large part of our Republican legislature doesn't come. It doesn't bother me because I'm there to speak to the American people, but that's not what Donald Trump was doing. I mean, his speech was way too long, but also entirely out of touch. He claimed a golden age for our economy. Maybe it's a golden age for his family, which is profiting off the presidency, but the American families are struggling. Costs still so difficult. If you talk to most American families, they'll say they're either treading water or drowning. And then he has the gall to say that he has protected Medicare when he has gutted it. His big ugly bill threatens to close 35 rural Kentucky hospitals, fire 20,000 of my people, and kick about 200,000 people off their health care coverage. Each of those hospitals is the largest payroll in their community. So when it closes, so does the restaurant, coffee shop, bank, insurance company. Donald Trump's actions towards Medicaid are a punch in the face of rural America. They're going to hurt pretty badly.
Well, and the implications of that bill, we are set to see potentially play out over the course of this year and beyond. And I want to talk about that a little bit, because despite the sort of, go for it, Governor.
We're seeing them now. We just had another birthing center in Kentucky close. I think it was in Lincoln County. And what that means is a pregnant woman in Kentucky, in some places, they have to drive an hour and a half just to give birth. Our job should be expanding access to health care. The idea that everyone should be able to see a doctor in their own community. And the big ugly bill is going to take that away from people. For me, it's also an issue of faith. Jesus said a doctor's for the sick, but there's going to be a lot of sick people out there that are going to have to travel way too far to see a doctor.
Well, and Governor, what I was going to ask about was about, despite the tone of President Trump's speech, I mean, polls have shown that the public does trust President Trump less on the economy now, less on immigration, at least less than the support he had at this time last year. But, you know, trusting him less on those issues is one thing. What is the solution that Democrats can actually lead on in the midterms and beyond?
Yeah, I think you make an important point that Democrats have to be more than just against Trump. We have to be for the American people. You know, the two biggest challenges I see in America right now, the two biggest threats, are the level of division and the belief that the American dream is no longer attainable. Democrats need to be a party of reviving, reigniting, and refueling that American dream. It's about the creation of jobs that pay well enough to be able to not only afford groceries at the end of the week or the month, but to be able to take your family on that same vacation that you went on as a kid. It means being able to buy a home around the same age that your parents were able to, which means we've got to build a lot of housing across America. Democrats have to be for it, And we're going to have to be for pulling back some regulation to do it fast. It means Democrats need to be the party of public safety. But that's about real steps that make us safer, not the stunts that Donald Trump does, sending in the National Guard knowing that it's only temporary. We've got to be the party that's where the people are, that tells them that we are going to work harder, so much harder than anyone you've ever elected, to make your life just a little bit better, just a little bit easier.
Well, and Governor, the question on that one is, do you believe the Democratic Party has the credibility to pull that off? And I ask that because, for example, when former President Biden left office, the job market was strong and inflation was falling, but falling from a steep peak that left Americans with steeper costs for housing, healthcare, higher education, and more. So I guess the question is, how big of a hole is this to dig out of for whoever is leading? And does it hurt the trust in a Democrat to actually get it done?
Well, that's why I think Democratic governors are so important. We have the receipts. In Kentucky, I've broken every economic development record, from private sector investment to new jobs. We have the best 3-year average for wages in our history. Our average incentivized wage for a new job last year was almost $30 an hour. We've made historic housing investments, the largest ever in Western Kentucky. And in Eastern Kentucky, we're moving people out of the hollers that flood, those are the valleys, up on top of former abandoned coal mines to where they will not only never flood again, but the homes are affordable. They're better quality. The utility costs are about $50 a month because we're building them with solar panels. When you look at Democratic governors, we get results. We are pragmatic. And that's why I think now is the time for Democratic governors to take the lead.
All right. Governor Andy Beshear, thank you for taking the time. I appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.